Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are going deep into something pretty fascinating in product ownership analysis.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about how to learn fast and adapt even faster in the ever-changing world of product development.
It's so key, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's such a huge part of it.
especially in today's world.
Totally.
And you've given us a great source to dig into today.
Yeah.
Chapter 5.6, Learn Fast, from this guide all about product ownership analysis.
Awesome.
So yeah, buckle up because we're about to uncover some serious insights
For sure.
on how successful products stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. I mean, in a market overflowing with choices, it's not enough to just have a good product anymore, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to quickly deliver value, understand customer expectations, and constantly refine your product based on what you learn. And that's really where this whole idea of learn fast comes into play.
So let's unpack this.
Yeah,
The source emphasizes the need to measure what matters.
right.
So what are the different types of measures that we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, so the source breaks it down into three key areas:
Okay.
strategic product and delivery measures.
Okay, so three different levels of measurement.
Yes. Think of it like a three-legged stool.
Okay.
You need all three for stability.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So tell me more about these legs.
Sure.
What exactly are strategic measures?
Yeah, so strategic measures are all about the big picture,
Okay.
okay? How well does the product align with the business goals? How does it compare to competitors? And is it generating financial success?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you might look at metrics like product lifetime value, how much revenue a customer generates over their entire relationship with your product or time to market. How long does it take to get your product from idea to launch?
So it's about understanding if the product is actually moving the needle on the business goal.
Exactly. Then you have product measures, which are all about customer acceptance
Okay.
and how much your target audience actually likes what you're offering. So this is where you'd consider things like Net Promoter Score.
Hmm.
Are customers likely to recommend your product?
Right.
And Customer Effort Score, how easy is it for customers to use and get things done?
So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of how users are experiencing the product
Yes,
and whether they're finding it valuable.
exactly.
What about that third leg, delivery measures?
Yes, so delivery measures give you a peek into the inner workings of your product team.
Okay.
How efficient are they? How many defects are slipping through the cracks? And are they delivering features at a good pace?
Mhm.
So you might look at things like team velocity,
Uh.
how much work they complete each sprint,
Right.
and scope change rate. How often do the requirements for a feature change during development?
It seems like these different measures offer like a 360-degree view of the product.
Yes,
From the business side of the customer perspective, how smoothly the team is functioning.
it really does.
But the guide doesn't just stop at measuring, does it?
You're right, it doesn't.
It's not enough to just gather all this data.
All right, you got to do something with it.
Yeah.
The real magic happens when you use those insights to adapt and improve.
So how do we actually bridge that gap?
Yeah.
How do we use these measurements to make meaningful changes?
Well, the guide dives into specific POA techniques that can really make a difference here.
Yeah.
For example, think about backlog refinement.
Mhm.
You're constantly reviewing and updating your product backlog, that prioritized list of features and improvements based on what you're learning from your metrics.
So if you're seeing a high customer effort score for a particular feature,
Right.
you might bump up its priority in the backlog to address those usability issues.
Exactly. Or during backlog refinement, maybe you discover that a planned feature doesn't align with your strategic goals anymore,
Right.
based on market trends or competitor analysis.
Mm-hmm.
The data from your strategic measures helps you make that tough call and pivot your roadmap.
This learned fast approach feels almost like a feedback loop,
Yeah.
constantly informing the direction of the product. And it's not just about the backlog.
No,
There are other POA techniques at play.
absolutely. Another important one is the definition of ready.
Okay, remind me of what that is again.
Yeah, so the definition of ready is like a checklist.
Okay.
It ensures your team has all the information they need before they start building a feature.
Okay, so not just jumping into coding before you understand the user needs or the technical requirements or how it aligns with your business goals.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that's where your learn fast insights come in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're building a new onboarding flow for your app.
Okay.
Part of your definition of ready might be to conduct user interviews,
Okay.
to understand their pain points with the current process.
Right.
Those insights then shape the design of the new flow, leading to a better user experience from day one.
Okay, so we're learning as much as we can, as early as we can,
Yes,
to avoid costly mistakes and delays down the line,
exactly.
being proactive rather than reactive.
Yes. And that same proactive thinking extends to understanding your customers as well. Right.
And that's where cultivating customer intimacy becomes a crucial part of learning fast.
Because if you're not in tune with what your customers want and need, you're essentially building in the dark, right?
Precisely. The guide highlights a few powerful techniques for gaining that customer intimacy.
Okay, like what?
Well, one is customer journey mapping.
Mm-hmm.
You're essentially mapping out every step a customer takes,
Okay.
from the moment they first become aware of your product through their interactions and usage to hopefully becoming a loyal advocate.
And I imagine by visually mapping that journey,
Right.
you can uncover pain points or areas of friction
Yes.
or places where the experience could be smoother and more delightful.
You got it. You might find a step in the checkout process that's confusing people,
Okay.
leading to abandoned carts. Or maybe there's a key feature that users are struggling to discover.
Mm-hmm.
By pinpointing these issues, you can prioritize improvements that directly impact customer satisfaction and, in turn, your product success. It's about making sure the experience is smooth sailing for the customer at
Yeah.
every touch point.
Exactly.
I like that. But what about actually understanding the customer's thoughts and feelings?
Yeah.
That seems harder to capture.
It is, but there's a technique for that too. It's called empathy mapping.
Empathy mapping.
Yeah, it goes beyond simply observing customer actions
Okay.
and tries to delve into their motivations, their anxieties, and what they're hoping to achieve.
So trying to get inside their heads and understand the why behind their action.
Exactly. Let's say you're seeing low engagement with a new feature.
Okay.
An empathy map could help you understand, why are users intimidated by it? Do they not understand its value? Are they simply not finding it at the right time?
Right.
These insights can then guide your messaging, your onboarding, or even the feature design itself.
Wow. So we're taking those learn fast principles and applying them to everything from refining our backlog to deeply understanding our customers.
Yeah.
It feels like all these pieces are starting to connect.
They are. It's about weaving that learn fast mindset into every facet of product development, the data you collect, the processes you use, and how you connect with your users. And the faster you learn, the faster you can adapt and build a product that truly resonates with your target audience.
Exactly.
And that's the key.
Yeah, for sure.
And that adaptation is key in today's market, right?
Yeah.
You can't just set a product roadmap and blindly follow it.
Right.
Things change. New information comes in.
Mhm.
Your product needs to evolve.
You're bringing me back to those delivery measures we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Things like burn down charts and team velocity.
Right.
It's not just about tracking progress, is it?
No.
There's a learn fast element there too.
Absolutely. Those metrics are like a mirror reflecting back how your team is working,
Okay.
helping you pinpoint areas for improvement. For example, if your team consistently struggles to meet sprint goals, that's a signal to dig deeper.
Okay.
Maybe there are bottlenecks in the process or communication breakdowns are happening.
So using data to drive team performance.
Yes.
And not just product features.
Exactly. And a POA technique, like the definition of done, can really reinforce that learn fast mindset within the team.
Remind me what that is again.
Yeah.
Definition of done.
So it's about having crystal clear criteria for what it means for a task to be truly complete.
Okay.
No more ambiguity about whether something is good enough. You know,
Right.
Everyone knows what quality bar needs to be met.
So you avoid that rework loop
Right.
where a feature seems finished,
Yeah.
but then keeps bouncing back
Right.
with little fixes or missed requirements.
Precisely. And just like with the definition of ready, the definition of done encourages a proactive learning approach.
Okay.
You're thinking through those potential snags up front
Right.
based on past experiences and data to create smoother processes.
So smoother for the team.
Yeah.
And ultimately leading to a better product for the customer.
Yeah. Right. Speaking of the customer, I'm reminded of another technique from the guide that can really accelerate learning: collaborative games.
Games.
Yes.
Like board games.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Not necessarily board games, but think of activities that encourage team learning and communication,
Okay.
but in a more interactive, engaging way.
So injecting a bit of fun into the
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Does that really work?
It can be surprisingly effective.
Really?
Yeah, collaborative games create a safe space for experimentation and getting feedback.
Okay.
You can use them for brainstorming new ideas, identifying potential risks, or even just building stronger relationships within the team.
I guess when you're playing a game, there's less pressure to be right all the time.
Right.
You can throw out those crazy ideas and see what sticks.
Exactly. And that freedom to experiment can spark some amazing insights.
Yeah.
Imagine you're trying to prioritize features for an upcoming sprint. You could play a game where each team member pitches their top feature, and then everyone votes based on a set of criteria, like customer value or technical feasibility.
Okay.
It's a way to engage everyone, get different perspectives out in the open, and make a data-informed decision together.
I love that. It's taking something that sometimes feel tedious, like prioritization,
Yeah.
and turning it into a collaborative learning experience.
And it's not just about brainstorming or prioritizing.
Right.
There are games for tackling specific problems, too.
Okay.
Let's say your team is struggling with a particularly tricky technical challenge. You could use a problem-solving game where everyone breaks down the problem into smaller parts, identifies potential solutions, and then builds a solution together.
It sounds like a much more engaging and energizing approach to problem solving than just staring at a whiteboard for hours.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it often leads to more creative solutions
Yeah.
because you're tapping into the collective wisdom and experience of the entire team.
And probably having a lot more fun in the process. But these games aren't just about having fun, right?
Right.
They're tied back to that learn fast philosophy.
Absolutely. The guide emphasizes that it's not just about playing games. It's about the insights and learning that come out of them.
Okay.
What did you discover about your team dynamics? Did you uncover any blind spots in your thinking?
Right.
What new ideas emerged that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise?
Right.
It's about capturing those learnings and feeding them back into your process.
So turning playtime into valuable insights.
Exactly.
I like that. It's like tricking your brain into learning without even realizing it.
Yeah.
But speaking of focused learning, the guide also mentions the concept of spikes.
Right. Think of a spike as a time-boxed exploration,
Okay.
like a mini research project.
Okay.
Maybe you have a user story in your backlog that's a bit fuzzy, or you're considering adopting a new technology but need to do some due diligence first.
So it's like taking a detour on your product roadmap to explore uncharted territory.
Perfect analogy. And sometimes those detours can lead to the most valuable discoveries.
Okay.
Maybe you learn that the user story you thought was simple is actually way more complex than you anticipated. Or perhaps you uncover a hidden risk with that shiny new technology you were so excited about.
And without that spike, you might have plunged headfirst into building something only to discover those issues much later down the line,
Exactly.
when it's more costly and time-consuming to fix.
Right. So spikes allow you to front load that learning, mitigate risks, and make more informed decisions. And they also tie back to that core learn fast principle.
Okay.
You're proactively seeking out information to validate your assumptions and make sure you're heading in the right direction.
It all comes back to that proactive mindset, doesn't it?
It does.
Constantly learning, adapting, and course-correcting as needed.
Yes, but I have to ask, with all these techniques and strategies for learning fast,
Yeah.
what's the bigger picture here? Why is this philosophy so crucial for product teams, especially in today's world?
It's a great question.
In today's lightning-fast digital landscape, if you're not learning and adapting quickly, you're falling behind. Technology is constantly evolving. Customer expectations are shifting at warp speed, and new competitors can pop up overnight.
It's like that Red Queen's race in Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
You have to run just to stay in the same place and run even faster if you want to get ahead.
Exactly. And that's where the learn fast philosophy comes in.
Okay.
By embracing a data-driven iterative approach, you can stay ahead of the curve and respond to those changes in the market. You can spot opportunities, anticipate challenges, and pivot your strategy as needed.
So it's not just about keeping up with the competition. It's about survival in the digital age.
In a way, yes, but it's also about building a product that your customers truly love and rely on.
Right.
When you prioritize learning and adapting, you're essentially putting your customers at the heart of the development process. You're constantly seeking their feedback, understanding their needs, and evolving your product to better serve them.
So it's about building products that not only survive, but thrive.
Yes.
By genuinely solving problems for your users.
Exactly. And it seems like those POA techniques, like the ones we've been discussing, are the tools that help you achieve that?
They provide a framework for gathering insights,
They do.
making informed decisions,
Yes.
and building a culture of continuous learning and improvement.
And remember, this isn't a solo mission.
Right.
It's a team sport.
Yeah.
Every member of the team plays a role in fostering that learn fast culture.
It's about breaking down silos, sharing knowledge freely, and constantly seeking ways to do things better.
Exactly. And the more you embrace that collaborative, learning-oriented mindset, the more successful your product will be.
It really is fascinating how all these pieces connect the data, the techniques, the team dynamics.
It is.
But there's one element that I think sits at the heart of it all,
Okay.
and it's something the guide emphasizes repeatedly:
What's that?
value.
Yeah.
It talks about becoming obsessed with value. What exactly does that mean in the context of Learn Fast?
Yeah, it's about recognizing that everything you do, every feature you build, every decision you make, every interaction you have with customers should be laser focused on delivering maximum value.
So not just building a product that's cool or innovative for its own sake.
Right?
It needs to solve a real problem and make a tangible difference for the user.
Exactly. And this obsession with value can't be an afterthought.
Right.
It needs to be woven into the very DNA of your product development process.
So it's a mindset shift, not just a box to check on a list.
It really is.
Are there specific techniques mentioned in the guide that can help teams achieve this value-centric approach?
Absolutely. We've touched on the value proposition canvas before.
Right.
It's a great tool for ensuring your product aligns with customer needs.
Right. It helps you understand those jobs, pains, and gains we talked about.
Yes.
What your customers are trying to achieve, what challenges they face, and what outcomes they desire.
Mm-hmm.
And then you design your product to address those specific needs.
Exactly. By focusing on those key elements, you're baking value into the product's core from the very beginning. But the guide goes deeper than that. It introduces the concept of value modeling.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What's value modeling all about?
It's about recognizing that value comes in many different forms.
Okay.
Yes, there's financial value, how much revenue your product generates, or how much money it saves customers. But there's also social value,
Okay.
how it helps people connect or build relationships.
All right.
Emotional value, how it makes people feel. And even just the value of convenience, how it simplifies tasks or saves time and effort.
So it's about understanding that value is a multifaceted thing.
Yes.
It means different things to different people, and a successful product probably taps into multiple types of value.
You got it. And by understanding these nuances of value, you can make smarter decisions about which features to prioritize,
Okay.
how to market your product, and even how to price it.
It's about aligning your entire product strategy
It's
from
significant.
development to marketing
Yes,
around delivering that maximum value to your target audience.
precisely. And that alignment is crucial for learning fast because it keeps you focused on what truly matters.
Right.
You're constantly asking, does this feature add value for our customers? Is this marketing message resonating with our target audience?
Right.
Are we measuring the right things to track our progress towards delivering value?
It creates that feedback loop where every decision, every experiment, every iteration is guided by that North Star of value creation.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that this focus on value isn't a one-time thing.
Okay.
The market is always changing, customer needs are evolving, and new technologies are emerging. What was considered valuable yesterday might be obsolete tomorrow.
So you're constantly reassessing, adjusting, and refining your understanding of what value means for your customers.
Yes,
And that ties back to that core Learn Fast principle, doesn't it?
it does.
It's about being adaptable and responsive to change.
Absolutely. Product ownership analysis at its heart is about using your knowledge and skills to build something that makes a real difference in the world.
Yeah.
And that starts with understanding what truly matters to your users and constantly striving to deliver that value.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
from the importance of measurement to the power of customer insights to the art of problem solving and this crucial emphasis on value.
It's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
And to our amazing listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked some new ideas and inspired you to embrace that Learn Fast mindset. Remember, the world of product development is constantly evolving, so stay curious, keep experimenting, and never stop learning. Until next time, keep diving deep.